Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me on this channel. If you haven't yet, then please do subscribe. It's completely free, just to support me to bring some more and more free flows to this channel. So we're going to be doing a Vinyasa flow today that's going to be suitable for all levels. So I'm going to give lots of different options throughout and really connecting to the fact that this is your practice, so you can make this flow what you need it to be today. If you want to make it more challenging and take every single option that I offer or add little bits on, you absolutely can. But equally, if you're a little bit more new to yoga and you want to take the modifications, or you need to take a few child poses throughout, then please do. Just honour whatever you need today. So we're going to start in a standing position on our mat. So feet are roughly hip width apart. And we're going to bring the hands to heart center to Anjali Mudra, so palms of the hands coming together. And I just want you to close your eyes for a moment so we can ground into this practice. So either closing the eyes or taking a steady gaze out in front. And taking this moment to connect to your breath. I want you to notice how your breath feels. And there's no right or wrong with this. Noticing if your breath feels fast or slow. Whether there's any restrictions within your breath, any resistance. And it's not so that we can label anything as good or bad or right or wrong, it's just to observe. So this is, of course, a breath-led practice. So we lead with our breath, we follow with our body, and we observe with the mind. Opening the eyes back up if you had them closed. Inhale, sweep your fingertips up to the sky, lift up and out from the waist. As you breathe out, you're going to float the hands back to heart center, take a twist to the right. So really initiating the twist from the waist. Legs are staying as they are. See if you can send your gaze over this right shoulder or in that direction. Inhale, come back to center, release your hands back down to the side. On your next inhale, sweep the hands back up to the sky, lift your ribs away from your hips. As you exhale, hands come through to heart center. We twist to the left. And then keep following with your gaze, sending your gaze over the left shoulder or in that direction. Breathing here. So we're never holding the breath. Inhale, come back to center. On your next exhale, drop your chin down towards your chest, and we're going to start to round the spine. But as you round, we're going to snake our way down, coming into a fold, but I want you to draw your belly button in towards the spine. So we're using the core, and take as much bend as you need to through the legs. Let yourself hang down in a forward fold. So keep bending those legs as much as you need to. Let your head hang really heavy. Gently shift some weight into the balls of the feet. Notice how that feels. Opening into the backs of the legs, opening into the lower back, the lumbar spine. Now lifting the chest slightly, you've got the option to take your hand to a block here. So left hand's going to come to the block or it's going to come to the mat. If you don't have a block, you can use books or get creative with anything that you want to use around your house. So we're going to bend through this left leg, left hand's on the block. Inhale, reach your right fingertips up to the sky, follow with the gaze. Notice if you can feel that stretch into the outside of the right leg, the right hip. Exhale, release, switch over to the other side. So right hand's coming to the block or it's coming to the mat, right leg's bending, left fingertips reach up to the sky, breathing here. Seeing if you can feel that stretch into the left hip space. Release the left hand back down. We'll go once more on each side. Inhale, right hand reaches up to the sky. Follow with the gaze. Left leg's bending. And release. Right leg bends. Right hand comes down. Left arm sweeps up to the sky. Breathing here. Release the left hand down. And then keeping some softness in the legs, we're going to inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, bring your hands back to heart center. Now just making sure that you're stood at the top of your mat into Tadasana mountain pose. So that's this standing position. Grounding through the feet. Inhale, reach your fingertips up to the sky, lift your ribs away from your hips. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold, bend the legs as much as you need to, drop the head. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. So for your halfway lift, you can see I've got my fingertips on the mat, but you could actually be bringing your hands to the shins or the thighs. The main thing here is that we want a lengthened spine and the crown of the head is reaching towards that wall in front. You can take some softness in the knees too here if you need to as well. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat, step or jump back to a plank position. And we'll move through our chaturanga. So I'll demonstrate the modified version, but if you want to do the full version, that's absolutely fine, go ahead with that. So I'm going to drop my knees down to the mat, lower the body down so that you're lying on your front, hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, peel the chest away from the mat, cobra. Or you might be taking your upward facing dog instead here. Activate the legs to support your spine. Exhale, melt your chest back down to the ground. Start to press your hands into the mat, tuck the toes under. On your exhale, press the mat away with your hands. Find that gaze between the hands, step or walk the feet in. Lift your chest, lengthen your spine, find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bend your legs as much as you need to. Inhale, sweep your fingertips up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, float the hands back through to heart center. Inhale, reach the fingertips back up to the sky, lifting up and out from the waist. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold forwards. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthen your spine, halfway lift. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat, step the feet back and work through your chaturanga. So you're either going to drop the knees down and come into your cobra as we did the first round, or on your inhale, you're going to move through into your upward facing dog. So if you're in upward facing dog, we're lifting the thighs away from the mat. So there's a fair amount of spinal extension going on for upward facing dog. So never force anything here. If you're new to this practice, then stay with a cobra. Exhale, we'll all meet back in downward facing dog, bringing the hips up to the sky, lifting and lengthening through the spine, reconnecting with your breath, checking in with your body. How is the body feeling today? The muscles, the bones, the joints, everything that's there. Notice what comes up for you in this practice. This time we're going to inhale and step our right foot through between the hands and then reach your fingertips up to the sky. So we're finding this high lunge. Now your back leg doesn't have to be lengthened. And to modify, you would drop the back knee down to the mat. We want this front knee to be in line with the ankle, so just checking in that we've got the joints stacked here. This is the safest way for our joints to be here. Breathing here. On your exhale, float your hands through to a prayer position. Inhale, make space, lift up and out from the waist. Exhale, twist to the right. So first option is stay and work here. If you're already feeling a little bit wobbly, etc., just know that that's okay, but working here. Next option is hook your left elbow to the right thigh. Press the palms of your hands together. Create that space. See if you can draw the belly away from the thigh and send your gaze up to the ceiling. Next progression would be to open the arms out. Take the option that feels right for you. There's no option that's better than another. It is really just a case of what works for you in your body today. Well done. So we'll start to come away from the twist with control, back to center. Now drop your back knee down to the mat if you haven't already, and you can untuck the toes. I recommend, again, if you need a little more space and support here, having some blocks, and you can place your hands on the blocks to support you in this lunge. So if you're working with blocks, take that now, or you're going to inhale, sweep the hands back up to the sky. Same alignment here with this front leg. So try and have this knee stacked above the ankle. And we're using the muscles in our thigh, in our hips, our glutes, to help to stabilize and support us here as we stretch. So we're stretching this left hip flexor. Now from here, again, you could be having your hands on the blocks or the mat to support you. We're going to float back, so we're bringing the weight back into this left leg, right toes drawing away from the mat, flexing the right foot, finding our Ardha Hanumanasana, so our half split position. So this right leg doesn't have to be locked straight. If there's still some bend in the leg but you're really feeling that stretch, then that's great work there. We want to try and keep this space across the chest and the length through the spine. So if you're finding you're having to really round, this is where I would recommend having blocks in your practice, because your hands could rest on the blocks and look at that length you can find in your spine. Take the option that works for you. If this range of movement is accessible, you can start to fold down over that right leg, but only if that feels good too. Refocus on your inhales and your exhales. So maybe on your inhale you can find a gentle lift through the chest. On the exhale, folding. Connection to breath. Well done. Shift the weight back into your front leg, so back into that right leg. Tuck the left toes underneath. And again, you can either have the hands on blocks supporting you to come up, or you're just going to power through the legs, find your way back to that high lunge. So from here, you're either going to step your left foot in to stabilize, or if you're kind of quite used to a Vinyasa practice, from your high lunge, you can power straight into this right leg and come through to a warrior three. So again, really nice way to support here with your warrior three is to have the hand on blocks and then lift your left leg out behind, flexing that left foot. If you don't have blocks and you're still working with your warrior three, you can always reduce the range of movement as well. So you could be keeping the chest high and working with lifting that back leg away, finding a focus point out in front, and then what you're working towards is finding that line with the body. Keep the back leg really active, hips are square, breathing here. Really good pose for strengthening joint stability. Focus, concentration. Nearly just lost mine then. That's okay, I'm human as well. So breathing here. Well done. And we're going to take a big step back. Remove your blocks if you had them. Bring the hands down to the mat. Find your way back to a plank position now. we come through our chaturanga. So either drop your knees down, come down to the mat for your cobra on the inhale, or on your inhale, you're going to float into your upward facing dog, thighs coming away from the mat. And on your exhale, everybody meet back in downward facing dog. And just remember that you could take a child's pose at any time. So for child's pose, we're always dropping the knees down to the mat, melting the forehead and the heart to the ground, closing the eyes. This is our resting position. So if you need to take this in the practice at any time, then please do. Always listening to your body. Okay, so inhaling. This time we step our left foot through between the hands. Reach those fingertips up to the sky. Find that high lunge. Drop the back knee down to modify. Check in with your front knee that it's aligned above the ankle. Bring the hands through to heart center. Inhale, lift up and out from the waist first. As you exhale, twist to the left. Bring, or either staying up here, or you're going to bring your right elbow to that left thigh. Press the hands together. Lift the gaze towards the ceiling. Lift the belly away from the thigh. If you want to take the option, you can open the arms out here. See what works for you. You can take a bind if that's in your practice. Keep breathing. Well done. So see if you can, with control, bring the hands back together. Lift away from the twist. Back to your high lunge. Drop your back knee down. Find your low lunge on the left side. So sometimes can be helpful in your low lunge to shift back a little bit first and send that message from your brain to your leg, left thigh, left glute switching on. This is your support system for the joint, for the leg. Then sinking into your lunge, trying to keep that support there. Either having the hands on blocks, you can keep them on the mat if you need to, or you're going to reach them up to the sky. Really find that lift up and out from the pelvis. Finding the length through the spine. So we're not sitting into the lower back, we're lifting up and out from the pelvis, from the waist. Breathing here. This is a really nice stretch if you do quite a lot of running or even like working out in the gym. And then from here, again, using hands, blocks, whatever you need to support you, shift your weight back into that right leg. Bring the left toes away from the mat, flexing the left foot, finding the stretch here into the back of the left leg. So again, you can keep some bend in that left leg if you need to. Keep that space across the chest, spine long. If it's in your practice, maybe you're folding over this front leg. See if you can find maybe a little bit of gentle movement with your breath. So as you breathe in, maybe you find a lift through the chest slightly. And as you breathe out, we're really surrendering, letting go, trying to relax into the fold as much as you can, or into this position that your body's in. And I know that saying relax when you're feeling maybe a little bit of discomfort might seem like quite a difficult thing to do, but sometimes with stretches and with releasing tension from the body, having an intention of letting go can really help the body just to do whatever it needs to do. So that is what I am referring to. Last breath here. Then we're going to shift the weight back into the front leg. Tuck under your right toes. Again, use any support that you need to here. Even if you need to come up to your high lunge in a different way, just know that that's okay. Power through the legs, lift back up to your high lunge. So, my lovely plant's very close again. So you're either going to step your right leg in, stabilize, then find your warrior three so you can take hands to blocks or reduce your range of movement, or you're going to power into the left leg and find your warrior three here. So we've got the back right leg nice and active. Imagine that your foot's pressing into something, but hips are really staying square. Stay with your breath. Well done. And see if you can take a really big step back again with your right leg. Float the hands down to the mat, back to a plank position, and come through your chaturanga. So inhaling, come back to that cobra or your upward facing dog. And then on the exhale, ground the hands into the mat, push them away with your hands, lift the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Taking a releasing breath here, inhale through your nose, exhale out through the mouth. Go. Feeling that energy, that fire within the body. When we think about the fire element, that's connected to our Manipura chakra, so in our solar plexus. This is our power, our sense of taking action. Inhale, send the gaze between the hands. So coming through to plank position, and then exhale, drop your knees down to the mat, release the feet. You can walk your hands out slightly here, and as you exhale, I want you to lower the body down so that you're lying on your belly. From here, inhale, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest away from the mat as if you're coming into a cobra. We're going to bring the arms down for Sphinx. So the forearms are on the mat. My elbows are roughly underneath the shoulders, but you can adjust this a little bit, make it work for you. And send your gaze out in front, opening across the chest, opening across the heart space. Breathing here. Then we're going to bend this right leg in, heel comes towards the right hip. Either just working here and see if you can press the hips lightly into the mat. Your next option, if it's accessible, is to bring your right hand to the right foot and then draw that right foot in. So again, adjust this left arm so that you can support yourself in doing this. Finding that stretch through the right quad. So again, this could be a nice one if you're doing various other forms of exercise. Release the right leg, let that drop down, bring your right forearm back down. Again, you might like to move it more into the center line to support you. Take any adjustments you need. Bend in that left leg. Don't force anything here either. So if it's not accessible to bring this hand round, the left hand round, then you don't have to take it. You can keep it more passive and just press your hips into the mat. See if you can feel a stretch there. It's okay if you don't. Just bring some awareness back to your breath, to the body. Well done, release the left leg back down. Exhale, release your chest back down to your mat. Take a little shift with your hips from side to side. Again, this is a really simple movement, might feel a bit strange if you're not used to it, but this is actually a really good movement for sending a signal to the body to release tension. So now bringing your hands to the side of your body. Inhale. I want you to start to lift the chest away from the mat. And see if you can lift the arms away too. Doesn't matter how far away the chest and the arms are lifting. And again, if it feels too much at any time, bring your hands down, make this into a cobra instead. So what I'm demonstrating here is our half locust. Now, if you wish to come into your full locust, you're going to start to lift your legs away from the mat as well. Now, even if you're keeping your legs on the mat, make sure that they're switched on. So this is all going to work to support your spine, having the legs, the glutes, all these muscles switched on. And we're really, in this pose, we're really strengthening the muscles that support our spine and our posture. Make sure to keep breathing here. Sometimes we naturally hold the breath and we don't even realise it. That's okay. Just being conscious of breathing in and out at all times. Well done. Release everything down to your mat. You can rest your head on your hands. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable. We're just going to take a couple of breaths here. Let the practice absorb. Let your body weight become heavy on the ground. Take a moment to notice whatever you notice. On your next inhale, I want you to open the eyes back up if you had them closed. Bring your hands down to the mat. Press the hands into the mat. Inhale, lift the body away from the ground. Sit your hips back down towards the heels and come into a kneeling position on your mat. So meeting here. Closing the eyes back down again, or taking a steady gaze and resting the hands on the thighs or the ground, just a gesture of grounding. Come back to your inhales and your exhales. See if you can observe where your breath is traveling to within your body. Where can you feel your breath? What parts of your body can you feel moving as you breathe? And I'll leave you with a little message today, just to say that showing up for this practice today, giving yourself this time, doing this to serve yourself will also serve the others around you as well, the other people in your life. And so having some gratitude towards yourself for giving yourself this time to nourish and look after your body and your mind. Opening your eyes back up when you're ready. As always, if you have some time to take a longer shavasana, so relaxation or meditation, I really, really recommend that you do so. There are some guided meditations and kind of relaxation flows on this channel if you have a little search through. So do check that out if that's of interest. Also on my membership, link is below. I offer, there's like over kind of 80 practices on there, and there's much longer practices, guided meditations, body scans, asana alignment, and things like that. So do check that out. I'm really grateful for you flowing with me, for being here, for supporting this channel, for subscribing. Do let me know how you're getting on. I love hearing from you, and I can't wait to see you again for a flow very, very soon.